A two-alarm fire sending one person to hospital broke out in a West End neighborhood this afternoon. As occupants tried to escape the flames, there are reports of one person climbing onto the roof to get to safety. Good evening. Fire crews responded to the two-alarm blaze near Jane and Lambton Avenues around 3 this afternoon. Paramedics tell us an adult was taken to hospital with non-life-threatening injuries, and all the occupants were able to escape. We spoke with a witness who described the harrowing moments after the blaze broke out.
As I approach, I come closer to the house, I see a lot of smoke coming out, and it was like the time where the guy, he was banging on the top window, I think 2 bangs before he actually broke the window. He jumped out, he was like kind of squirming on top of the roof, the side roof, and some people came with a ladder, and it seemed like he didn't want to get onto it. I think he had a broken ankle from the impact. And so he eventually came down using the ladder, and he was helped to the side where he was wobbling a lot, and they took him on then after the firefighters came, they took him on the stretcher and treated him.
Fire officials say there were also reports of explosions, but the cause of the blaze is still under investigation. Investigators have been notified and crews remain on scene checking for hot spots. Meanwhile, another large fire tore through a home late last night, this one in Etobicoke. This was the scene at Dundas West and Royal York Road just after 10. Flames and smoke could be seen billowing from the roof of the home. Fire officials say the 2 people in the home managed to get out on their own, and residents in neighboring homes were also forced to evacuate.
We had flames showing from the 2nd floor and from the soffit and roof areas. Crews initially did an aggressive interior attack. Thankfully, the occupants had self-evacuated before our arrival. Crews noticed that the floor was compromised on the 2nd floor, and we had a heavy amount of fire in the attic and was self-venting through the roof. Toronto Fire says they will remain on scene for most of the day, watching for hot spots. It's not yet clear what caused the fire to ignite, but it is not believed to be suspicious. Protesters clashed in North York this afternoon as part of weekly opposing demonstrations between pro-Palestinian and pro-Israeli supporters. Today's rallies were the first under a new directive issued by Toronto police, banning demonstrations from going into residential streets.
Preference seems to be a little off. Trust Jesus, my Lord and Savior.
This was the scene near Bathurst and Shepherd today. There was a large police presence with barriers set up in front of residential streets, blocking access. There were tense exchanges between the 2 groups as they marched down Shepherd. Officers say no arrests were made and the demonstrators dispersed without any serious incident. Police say the new ban was put in place, citing a changing security landscape in recent weeks with increased volatility and heightened fear in communities. They added lawful demonstrations can continue at main intersections, but moving into residential neighborhoods present an unacceptable risk to public safety. Meanwhile, pro-Palestinian demonstrators argue the move infringes on their rights to peaceful protest. A man has been arrested in a fatal stabbing in East York on Wednesday. Officers responded to a building near Gamble and Donlands Avenues around 9:30 p.m. for reports of an altercation. Officers located a male victim with stab wounds and without vital signs. He was pronounced dead at the scene. The victim has been identified as 27-year-old Ahmed Hassan Asif. Yesterday, police arrested 21-year-old Pratik Parajula Thapa on charges of second-degree murder and robbery. He was scheduled to appear in court this morning. And police are investigating a robbery at a downtown bakery overnight. The Grand Order of Divine Sweets on Queen West posted this video on social media. The bakery says someone broke in overnight with a crowbar, badly damaging the front door. It comes hours after hundreds turned out for a community Easter event at the shop, complete with sweet treats and prizes. The owners say the thieves only made off with $200, but repairing the door will be extremely costly. They call the incident disheartening, especially for a small business. Officers say no arrests have been made and there is no word on any suspects. We'll have more news in a moment, but first here's a live look at the city this hour. Mostly cloudy conditions across the GTA. As we take a look at the satellite radar, you can see there is still a little bit of activity around the Clarington area, but not so much in the GTA and other parts of southwestern Ontario. Taking a look at the winds right now, light, 13 kilometers per hour in Toronto, stronger in Peterborough, Kingston, Niagara Falls, and Hamilton as well. Current temperatures, 11 degrees in Owen Sound. Yes, they are still in double digits, as is Niagara Niagara Falls and Windsor at 12 degrees. At the islands right now, 6 degrees and still some sun, a little bit more cloud cover at Pearson Airport. Tonight, our overnight low will be 2 degrees. We are in for a pretty nice day tomorrow, but then we are going to get some active weather in the way of precipitation and rainfall. We'll give you all those details coming up. And Natalie, right now, back to you.
Okay, thank you, Raheem. Canada's New Democrats have chosen their next federal leader.
Filmmaker and activist Avi Lewis won on the first ballot. CTV's Rachel Aiello has a look at what's next for the party as it looks to change course following stinging losses in last year's election.
Please welcome the new leader of Canada's NDP, le nouveau chef du NPD, Avi Lewis.
Avi Lewis is the new leader of the federal NDP. A decisive victory. New Democrats elected Lewis on the first ballot with 56% of the vote.
This is about all of us coming together to find our place and our power in the thrilling work of building a shared future.
Lewis comes from a progressive political dynasty. Both his father and grandfather led new Democratic parties in this country. In his campaign platform, Lewis proposed to block any new pipelines, impose a wealth tax on the 1%, and create public options for groceries.
The money is there, my friends. We need a government with the courage to go and get it for all of us.
His clear mandate to take the party further to the left, celebrated by many.
NDP! NDP!
Avi Lewis has such a clear vision for the NDP. I think he's going to do amazing as leader, and I'm so excited.
We have hope for our future.
Others express disappointment.
I worry that some of his platforms are unattainable and people might lose faith in the party.
He's got some good ideas, but he scares me a little bit. The militancy there, for me, it scares me.
And now the real work begins.
I think the rebuild is going to take all of us, and I'm really grateful that Avi sees that.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you. Let's get to work.
But his ability to unify is already being tested. As soon as Lewis won, the Alberta and Saskatchewan NDP came out swinging, saying his views run contrary to the party's working class roots.
I know there's been a lot of talk about division, but I think that what we've seen over the course of this weekend in Winnipeg hopefully shows a brighter future for a party that has been, frankly, irrelevant for the last number of months.
Lewis has inherited a party that has a long way to go to reestablish itself as a viable political option. Those I spoke with today said inviting the 4 other candidates on stage was an important first step. Rachel Aiello, CTV News, Winnipeg.
Prime Minister Mark Carney took to social media this afternoon, writing, "Congratulations to Avi Lewis on your election as NDP leader. As Prime Minister, I will always take a collaborative approach to how we build a stronger Canada. And I look forward to speaking about how we can work together to keep delivering for Canadians." Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre wrote, "Congratulations to Avi Lewis on being voted in as the new leader of the NDP. I look forward to working to hold the Carney Liberals to account for the worst grocery price inflation and fastest shrinking economy in the G7. We must make Canada affordable and safe for us all." And Rachel mentioned the reaction from some provincial NDP leaders. Ontario's Mart Stiles congratulated Lewis on his election, concluding with, "Let's get more MPPs, MLAs, MHAs and MPs elected and more NDP governments coast to coast to coast." Alberta Premier Danielle Smith is reacting to a controversial op-ed written by one of her government's MLAs. At the moment, advocates for Alberta independence are working to collect signatures to get the question of separating from Canada on a referendum ballot. In a piece published in the Western Standard, the United Conservative Party's Jason Steffen called for Albertans to sign on, saying it would be good for the province, and having a vote doesn't mean supporting the idea of separating. This weekend, Premier Smith said for her, a sovereign Alberta within a united Canada means Alberta stays. On her radio call-in show Saturday, the Premier said the rest of caucus and the government agree with her.
I support Alberta's sovereignty within a united Canada. That means the province of Alberta stays within Canada, and we work to get back the rights that we have under the Constitution. And that's what I've been working on. That's why I signed an MOU with the federal government to work on getting a pipeline to the coast, but also to get control over our electricity system and be able to build out our industry. It's why I'm fighting with them on firearms. We don't want to be confiscating firearms from law-abiding gun owners.
The group Stay Free Alberta has until May 2nd to collect just under 178,000 signatures for its petition for a referendum to be successful. Well, it has been another weekend of long lines at U.S. airports as funding for the Transportation Security Administration remains held up by Congress.
TSA agents have been working without pay for weeks, and hundreds continue to call out for their shifts as immigration and customs enforcement officers step in to take over some of their duties. While lawmakers in Washington previously reached deals to fund most of the U.S. government, the Department of Homeland Security is still considered shut down. The standoff comes in the wake of the Trump administration's immigration crackdown in Minnesota, and specifically the fatal shootings of 2 U.S. citizens there by federal officers. Democrats are demanding reforms to the way ICE officers and border agents operate in the field. For example, banning the wearing of masks and requiring body cameras.
They want changes in ICE tactics. They want changes in policies. Look, the same laws that ICE follows today, the same laws about immigration enforcement have been in place during the Clinton, Obama, and now. The laws hasn't changed. And the things we're talking about, they want to prevent ICE from doing their job.
White House border czar Tom Homan said it would be better to discuss any changes to ICE without leaving other parts of the Department of Homeland Security unfunded. Democrats say that's exactly what they tried to do, but it was rejected by the Republican-controlled House.
We're not holding up all of the money for all the Department of Homeland Security. That's just a false statement. We have said repeatedly, repeatedly, we should fund TSA, we should fund FEMA, we should fund the Coast Guard. We are not prepared to give ICE another $10 billion on top of the monies they already have and are using in many of these lawless operations. We're not going to give them another $10 billion unless they make fundamental reforms, including holding people accountable for the killing of American citizens.
U.S. President Donald Trump signed an executive order directing the department to pay TSA agents. Critics say it's not clear how fast the funds will actually arrive or how long they might last without congressional approval.
Now to the latest in the war in the Middle East. Pakistan says it will host talks of some kind between the U.S. and Iran, although Washington and Tehran haven't confirmed the push to end the conflict.
Those reports come as the Trump administration sends more ground troops to the region. U.S. officials told the Washington Post that the Pentagon is preparing for weeks of ground operations in Iran. They could involve raids by special operations and conventional infantry troops, according to that report. But it remains unclear whether U.S. President Donald Trump would approve any of those plans. Iran says it is ready to respond to a U.S. ground attack if it comes.
It looks clearly like there's going to be ground operations, at least on Karg Island. The important factor to keep in mind here is that ground operations are much more dangerous in this environment now. We haven't seen Western troops really engaged in a war since the emergence of drone warfare. Drone warfare makes them basically sitting targets that are easily hit and that it can hardly be defended against on scale. So there's going to be far more deaths of U.S. soldiers if they're actually deployed than there had been in the past due to these drone technologies.
Footage from Tehran today shows significant damage at a university campus. Israel says over the last day, its fighter jets had targeted sites used for weapons research, development, and production.
Meanwhile, a blaze broke out at an industrial site in central Israel today. Officials say it was either caused by a weapon fragment from an attack or by part of an interceptor. Alerts have been issued across Israel today, signaling incoming projectiles launched from Iran. Missiles could also be seen streaming over Jerusalem and parts of the occupied West Bank. This comes as Israel keeps up strikes on southern Lebanon amid escalating hostilities with Hezbollah militants. Israel's military has ordered people to leave much of the south, as well as Beirut's Hezbollah-controlled southern suburbs. Israeli PM Benjamin Netanyahu has ordered an expansion of the so-called security buffer zone along the shared border. More than 1,000 people have been killed in Lebanon, with over 1 million displaced since Hezbollah fired at Israel on March 2nd, resulting in an Israeli response.
As Iran and Israel exchange strikes, Catholics around the world are marking the start of Holy Week. But today, police in Jerusalem prevented Palm Sunday Mass from taking place at a key holy site. Unlike the celebrations of years past, the streets of Jerusalem's Old City were silent today amid the Mideast war. Top Catholic leaders in the Holy Land were set to hold a private mass in the Church of the Holy Sepulchre, but Israeli police barred them from going there, citing wartime safety concerns. Cardinal Pierbattista Pizzaballa led mass at a different church. But the Latin Patriarchate of Jerusalem says it's the first time in hundreds of years the ceremony hasn't been able to take place at the site where Christians believe Jesus was buried and resurrected.
It's unfortunate. It's a pity that this happened. It's a very sacred day for Christians, and in our opinion, there was no justification for such a decision or such an action.
Gatherings of more than 50 people are forbidden by Israel's government right now, but Canada has joined the U.S., Italy, and other countries in questioning authorities' decision to prevent even the smaller private contingent led by the Cardinal from going to the church. Prime Minister Mark Carney said the actions further violate the long-standing status quo of Jerusalem's holy sites, adding people in every faith in Jerusalem should be able to worship freely, fully, and without fear. The office of the Israeli Prime Minister, Benjamin Netanyahu, said the step was taken out of special concern for the safety of church leaders amid bombardment from Iran, and it's working with security services to enable them to worship at the holy site in the coming days. Israeli President Isaac Herzog says he called Cardinal Pizzaballa to express his great sorrow over the incident. He also said Israel remains committed to freedom of religion for all faiths and upholding the status quo at the holy sites of Jerusalem.
Combattuto nessuna guerra, ha manifestato.
Meanwhile, at Palm Sunday Mass at the Vatican, Pope Leo shared unusually forceful remarks, saying God ignores the prayers of leaders who wage war and have what he called hands full of blood. The ongoing conflict in the Middle East continues to have a negative impact at the pumps as gas prices went up again last night. The 5-cent jump pushed the price of regular to an average of $1.77.9 per litre at most GTA stations. Dan McTague, the president of Canadians for Affordable Energy, says that price is expected to hold until Wednesday. An update now to a story brought you more than a year ago as a Richmond Hill family continues to fight to keep their small jewelry brand alive. The business, which was located in 10 Hudson's Bay stores across the GTA, needing to start from scratch and pivot online after the department store closed all of its locations. CTV's Mike Walker has their story.
In a small studio space, Romina Bakhtiari and Ali Kaveh have been fighting to keep their dream and small jewelry business alive.
Really devastating, moving from 10 active locations to immediately nothing.
We first met the couple a year ago after the Hudson's Bay Company surprisingly announced it would be shutting down all of its stores after filing for creditor protection. It's inside the iconic department store they started their Romali jewelry brand and had expanded to 10 kiosks at Bay stores across the GTA with plans of adding more. They were forced to lay off 20 employees and pivot their business entirely online.
I'm a mental health nurse, so I had to do more of that on the side to be able to have my business survive.
This month, the courts extended Hudson Bay's reprieve from creditors as HBC continues to auction off its artifacts and distribute a hardship fund to former employees. The couple says they are still owed thousands from at least 2 months' worth of sales before the court proceedings started.
It may not be a big money for them, but it's definitely a huge money for us to lose it suddenly.
This is our online customizer. They have persevered over the past year. Online sales started to boom in December.
It was a slow year. However, even though we lost seeing our customers in person, but our customers actually stayed with us. They continued supporting us.
Some of the leftover inventory is now being sold at Marshall's and Winners. They say those sales combined with online are nowhere near the business they once had.
It's not even 1/3 of what we used to do.
But in the coming months, they plan to open their first retail store since the Bay's closure at Promenade Mall.
We're still in contact with our employees and we're hoping that we can get them back to work. Whether if it's through online orders, fulfillment, inventory.
Because for Ali and Romina, this is much more than just a small jewelry business.
Everything happens for a reason. We had to come along with a new plan. It's growing. We're still breathing.
We will do everything that we can to save this brand. It is a family-owned brand.
Mike Walker, CTV News.
The University of Toronto has made the latest global university rankings. U of T is the only school in the country to land in the top 20 across all 5 major faculty areas in the 2026 CU's World University Rankings. From life sciences at 12th to arts and humanities at 14th, the university is now listed in the same elite circle as Harvard and Oxford.
Canada's Auditor General has revealed major issues with the handling of cuts to Canada's International Student Permit program.
The overall number of foreign students coming to Canada dropped far more than expected, and that is having a major impact on campuses right across the country. CTV's Abigail Beeman reports.
At the small-town Perth Algonquin College campus, Robin Gifford will be able to finish his Heritage Carpentry and Joinery program before the campus closes in August. After big cuts, this month the college decided another 30 programs are being phased out, citing international student enrollment as one factor.
The schools found a way to abuse international students for money, and they took advantage of it. And if your institution can't run profitably without exploiting international students, that's not our fault. That's your fault.
The school didn't respond to multiple interview requests by deadline.
Considering it's something that's so vital to our community, they don't seem to see it that way.
Do you feel Perth hasn't had a voice?
Yes.
The Auditor General found Canada's cap on international students did work to decrease the numbers, but they dropped off way more than projected. That's true right across the country, including here in Ontario, but smaller provinces were disproportionately impacted.
There has been a damage to just that, the image or the, Canada as a study destination, I think, in general. And so we've seen that then impact.
The University of Saskatchewan is not sure exactly why they've seen such a dramatic decrease and wants immigration staff to meet with them to explain. Their international student enrollment dropped 18%, while at Alberta's Lethbridge Polytechnic,
international student enrollment is down about 40%. Which has really impacted our budget, obviously.
Which the school believes is in part due to students not wanting to choose our country due to uncertainty.
Just reconsidering Canada as a place to go to school and work.
Universities Canada is optimistic things can head in the right direction.
What we need to do is make sure that the system's stable now for a couple of years. Let's not do anything else that sends a message to students around the world that they're not sure how the rules work in Canada.
While Perth, Ontario still hopes there's a solution for their closing campus. Abigail Beeman, CTV News, Perth, Ontario.
A heads up for transit riders. There are service changes to keep in mind today and heading into the week. There is no subway service on Line 2 between Jane and Ossington stations today for planned track work. Shuttle buses are running and service is expected to resume at 6 tomorrow morning. And on Line 1, service will end at midnight between Shepherd West and Lawrence West stations. This early closure will run through Thursday. Shuttle buses will operate instead until the end of service. And on GO Transit, the Lakeshore East line is running on a reduced hourly schedule today. That's for track upgrades. Stouffville line trains are running hourly between Scarborough GO and Old Elm or Mount Joy. And on the Kitchener line, there is no service between Bramalea Station and Union for track work. GO buses are running between Bramalea and the 407 bus terminal, where riders can connect to the TTC.
Budding hockey stars between the ages of 10 and 12 hit the ice in Scarborough today. And for many of these athletes, it was their first ever tournament.
They're playing for the Hockey Diversity Cup, a milestone moment meant to build a sense of belonging within the hockey community. Battling for pucks, these young athletes are showing off their skills and progress on the ice.
I'm just passing to people and trying to score some goals. I was bad at hockey, but now I got better.
This is the third annual Spring Classic Tournament, a celebration of the Grassroots Original Hockey League. Hi. 6 community-based teams play out of arenas including Albion and Malvern during the season. And this tournament is their chance to showcase their hard work and fundamentals in a competitive, supportive environment.
Since it's my first time, it's been really fun, and it's my first time being a goalie too.
It's been really cool so far. I've met some amazing people, coaches, staff, friends.
The tournament is hosted by the Hockey Diversity Alliance. Its goal, to provide barrier-free hockey programming. And they're running up the scoreboard, supporting more than 1,300 youth annually across the GTA.
This event is one of my favorite ones of the year, warms my heart. As most people know, what we do is go into underserved communities and provide hockey at completely free of cost.
It's that access which has opened the game up to players like Hamza Patel.
It's a starting point of being with a big crowd and knowing how it feels to be watched.
Patel now plays for the Don Mills Mustangs and credits this tournament for giving him confidence on and off the ice.
There's many NHL players who are from different race, come from different part of the earth.
Inspiration that anyone can make their dreams come true, and everyone deserves the same opportunity. We're going to take a quick break on CTV News, but when we come back, we'll take a full look at the weather forecast. Temperatures are set to rise, but we're also in for some wet weather.
When you see it happen, send it to CTV News. Text 10400 from your screen to ours. Text 10400.
Final preparations are being made for NASA's Artemis 2 mission, the first crew journey toward the moon in more than 5 decades. Canadian astronaut Jeremy Hansen is part of the 4-person crew set to launch from Kennedy Space Center in Florida as soon as Wednesday. Hansen will serve as the mission specialist and become the first non-American to travel beyond low Earth orbit. The space agency attempted to send the 4 astronauts on a 10-day lunar fly-around in February, but the launch was delayed by hydrogen fuel leaks and helium flow problems. CTV science and technology expert Dan Riskin says this is a historic time for space travel.
We've sent Artemis 1, which was an uncrewed spacecraft that had nobody on board, went around the moon and came back. That mission did not go as planned. There were some big surprises in terms of how the heat shield performed. So adjustments had to be made. It took a couple of years, but now we're ready for phase 2. And so this is Artemis 2. This is to send these 4 astronauts up around the moon and back and to test all the systems that are involved with that so that we can move on to Artemis 3 and then Artemis 4, which will be landing on the moon and walking around.
The Artemis 2 mission has faced multiple delays in the lead up to the launch. The crew is expected to take off April 1st at 6:24 p.m. Eastern Time. But if there are more delays, there are 6 other windows for liftoff between the 2nd and the 30th. Hansen will be the first non-NASA astronaut to join a lunar mission. Temperatures are set to rise for the start of the work week, but weather experts say that doesn't mean nicer conditions are here to stay.
I think we have to be a little bit more patient. I think this weather whiplash stuff is still with us. That's something that dominated the month of March. And so what we're going to see, I think, next week and then going forward, we see some consistency in the weather, something that you can say, well, I'll wake up on Monday and I'll think about doing something weather-wise that's nice on Thursday, and you've got the good weather for it. So that's what we're kind of waiting for, not just this up and down yo-yo kind of weather.
Well, hopefully Dave Phillips can give us some good news in terms of no more yo-yo effect, because it's been hard. It's been hard to dress. It's been hard to get some consistency going outside and enjoying the outdoors.
My son asked if he could wear shorts today.
And what was your answer?
Because it's almost April, and I said not a chance.
Yeah.
But, you know, I think everyone is just really itching for that spring weather. I feel like we never have a spring jacket season. We go straight from parkas to T-shirts. You know, it's like bundling up one day and sunburn the next.
It's tough. Well, I mean, your son tomorrow might be able to, because we're getting up to, I believe it's like 16 degrees is our daytime high tomorrow. So that's good news. But then tell him to bring some long pants as well, because then Tuesday we're going to get a lot of rain. So it is back and forth. It continues. 10 degrees right now in the city of Toronto. That's good news. Even warmer in Windsor, sitting at 12 degrees. Tonight's lows, we are actually above seasonal. We will be at 2 degrees. Normal for this time of year is below freezing at -1. As we wake up tomorrow, we actually warm up pretty quickly. By 9 a.m., it'll be 9 degrees and mainly sunny. That's great news. We like to see that. And as I just mentioned, our high tomorrow will be 16 degrees. That is double normal for this time of year. And it's also going to come with some sunshine, and that's great. There will be increasing cloudiness throughout the day, but the sun's going to peek out with some warm weather. So enjoy that. Then we transition, as I show you our forecast radar, we transition into some wet weather. So Monday's looking great. Fast forward now to Tuesday. You can see near midnight through the overnight hours into Tuesday morning, we are going to be getting a significant band of wet weather, not only in the GTA, but also throughout southwestern Ontario. In fact, London and Windsor, they are going to get the worst of it, as you'll see in just a second here. So the system moves on, and you can see by Wednesday at midnight, while it's passed in the GTA, London and Hamilton area, they'll still be dealing with some weather. These are what the predictions are in terms of rain accumulation. By Tuesday at 11:30 p.m., 32 millimeters of rain expected in London, 18 millimeters in Toronto. So quite significant. You're going to want to make sure that you have your rain gear handy. We've talked about Monday, Tuesday, also a risk of thunderstorms, 16 degrees. So it's still remaining quite warm. We say hello to April on Wednesday with some cloud cover at 9 degrees, and then we start to see a one-day significant drop on Thursday, down to 2 degrees. Temperature will stay steady there, and then Good Friday, 60% chance of showers, and 10 degrees. So from a temperature perspective, pretty good. But as you can see at that 7-day forecast, it's exactly what Dave Phillips was saying, right? A yo-yo effect. Sometimes you get the good high double-digit temperatures, but then you get the wet weather, and so it's a back-and-forth game, and it's going to continue for quite some time. Natalie.
Okay, thanks, Raheem. Well, in sports, the Raptors continue their push for the playoffs, hosting the Orlando Magic tonight.
Scotty, the hammer, the throwdown, get out of the way!
Toronto is coming off a 119-106 victory over the New Orleans Pelicans on Friday night. The Magic sit 2 games behind the Raptors in the Eastern Conference. The game tipped off just after 6 p.m. with Toronto currently leading in the first quarter.
On the diamond, the Blue Jays were looking for an opening series sweep against the Athletics this afternoon.
Franchise record going back to 1977 as Okamoto drills one. High, deep, gone!
We love to see it. Already up 3-0. Kazuma Okamoto extended the Jays' lead in the 4th inning, hitting his first career MLB home run to right center field. Toronto won 5-2, sweeping the series. Now, Eric Lauer, who started for the Jays, struck out 9 in just over 5 innings of work. Toronto will open another homestand tomorrow, welcoming the Colorado Rockies to town. And to the ice, the Scepters were looking to get back in the win column, hosting the Vancouver Golden Eyes at Coca-Cola Coliseum this afternoon.
Fast, walks the line, top of the circle, off the pad, another chance, Turnbull, Toronto scores!
Blair Turnbull opened the scoring for the Scepters less than 3 minutes into the game. However, Vancouver battled back to take the lead in the second, and they held on for the 3-2 win. The Scepters are back on the ice Wednesday, taking on the Ottawa Charge.
And the Maple Leafs were on the ice last night in St. Louis, looking for a 3rd straight win.
Ben McCabe on the board with the pair today. And there's the shot, scores. There you go. Oh, the McCabe's on a scoring spree.
Jake McCabe opened the scoring for the Leafs in the 3rd period for his 5th of the year, putting Toronto within 1 goal. But that was it for the Buds. The Blues skated off with a 5-1 win. The Leafs will now head to California for a 3-game road trip, starting in Anaheim against the Ducks tomorrow night.
To minor hockey now, and the incredible volunteer effort giving young players a head start on the ice at Ted Reeve Arena.
Any family who has been through that East End program knows the name Coach Paul. And to local players and parents, he is a House League hero. Well before the sun is up, Paul Pellman arrives at Ted Reeve Arena every Saturday and Sunday morning.
Okay.
To ready a rink that won't sit silent for long.
You'll see it's pandemonium. We have parents, kids, grandparents. It's magnificent.
And in the calm before the chaos, Coach Paul puts every piece in place.
These are for our volunteers to wear on the ice so that they identify themselves as the tight coaches.
Calling the shots for the setup.
2 nets only, yeah. Only 6. I think have it at the end.
It was 22 years ago that Pellman started this hockey house league with his friend Bob Acton.
I call it my therapy. I'm a divorce attorney by day, so I see a lot of ugliness. This is all good. How are you, buddy?
And every weekend morning since, he has been there when the first families roll in by 6:30 a.m.
Good morning.
A parade of parents coming in with coffee after an extra early morning.
Parents maybe have had a rough Saturday night, and, he gives them a smile, so it's really good.
It's one of the reasons I get my son up at 5:45. I'm like, oh, we're going to get Coach Paul. He's going to be upset. We got to be out on the ice.
I'm going to put both you guys in dress room 6.
Pumping up every player ahead of game time.
Gonna rock today, buddy.
And there's not a name he doesn't know.
On your Toronto Maple Leafs white, Captain Taylor Hennessy, Hank the goal sniper Thompson, Oscar Sullivan, AKA the Music Man. I've got kind of a photographic memory for names and faces. I get to know the parents and makes it easier.
Over the years, Coach Paul has gotten to know thousands of kids.
Criers, happy kids, exuberant kids kids who are quietly under the radar, but who improve over time. It's the whole gambit. Good job, Asher.
And no matter their personality, he brings out perseverance.
When we started this league, these kids on a Sunday morning could not skate at all.
Coach Paul and his team got him on the ice. He was petrified, thought it was too slippery. And now he's made like a lot of friends.
New friends too for the parents whose weekend morning ritual has become something special.
We all as parents look forward to his emails weekly that he sends being like, here's what's coming up on Saturdays and Sundays, and it gets us all really excited.
You look at these emails and you go through it and he's thinking about every kid as he's writing them, obviously, and he knows everybody's, and that's the most important thing for these kids. They walk through the door and he says hi, and it just gets them going in the morning, which at 7 a.m. is pretty awesome.
By mid-morning, the pandemonium Pellman predicted
Let's get ready to rumble!
Energizes the arena.
He lets everyone have fun. Every time we were doing bathrooms, he gave me advice, just keep your hands up.
Kids are fun. They're at a perfect age where they love life.
They love life, and they love him.
He's been the heart and soul of the entire year.
Hey, Jets, let's go!
Now 73, Pellman had no idea when he started this thing that he'd still be running the show 22 years later.
No, I didn't. No, I didn't. But every year just keeps morphs into the next year.
And he's showing no signs of stopping.
We hope to see you next September.
The heart of this House League hockey.
Thank you, Paul. Thank you.
The legend of the league. You're watching CTV News Toronto. Stay with us. Amid rising tensions with the U.S., the federal government last year said it was reviewing a plan to buy dozens of F-35 fighter jets from Lockheed Martin.
Ottawa has considered alternatives for updating Canada's fleet, including Gripen jets from Sweden. But the CEO of manufacturer Saab says it's not clear when the review might be completed.
We are providing as much information as possible to the Canadian authorities and the politicians and industry to make sure that the case is sort of accessible in terms of how quickly we can do this, affordability, infrastructure perspectives on how easy it is to integrate this type of capability, the fighters, into your existing infrastructure. So the information is there. And then there is some sort of process evaluating this as we speak.
When the government launched its review last year, it pledged results by the end of that summer. Defense Minister David McGuinty has previously said Canada isn't ruling out buying fighter jets from more than one company to fulfill capability requirements. Well, if you think you might be paying a little extra for Easter chocolate this year, you're not wrong.
Retail outlets are not discounting as much, all due to the volatile nature of buying cocoa. CTV's Vanessa Wright has the details.
Experts say chocolate has silently increased by 10% since last year.
Well, you kind of get used to it. Everything else has gone up, so you kind of take it for granted.
The good news is cocoa futures are trending down, according to food policy expert Sylvain Charlebois. The bad news, prices aren't expected to drop until next year.
Be careful with sales. They're not really sales. They'll show you a chocolate bunny that is on sale 10% off, 20%, but they're not really lower price compared to last year, unfortunately.
It's a reality the owners of Whim Chocolate in Halifax know all too well. The price of their base chocolate has increased by 100%.
We are really committed to keeping our quality at the highest standards that we possibly can. And that may involve an increase in price, but we're not going to compromise on the quality of our chocolate.
As for whether Easter sales will be affected by current chocolate costs, Parker says they won't know the full scope until after the holiday.
You could have one person that comes in and buys everything that they see. You know, money's not an object. And other people are like, oh, well, you know, I might just get one instead of, you know, multiples that I would have gotten in the past.
Vanessa Wright, CTV News.
Well, it's Canadian music's biggest night of the year. The Juno Awards are about to get underway in Hamilton with live performances from artists like Daniel Caesar and the Arkells. Tonight's event comes on the heels of an awards gala presentation last night, with Tate McRae picking up several awards, including Single, Album and Artist of the Year. Nelly Furtado is among several artists set to be inducted into the Canadian Music Hall of Fame. And tonight's event is expected to have a special guest appearance by Prime Minister Mark Carney.
After blasting off at last weekend's box office, Project Hail Mary is back in the top spot.
You are the only scientist who might know what this is.
I'm just a teacher at Grover Cleveland Middle.
The sci-fi film starring Ryan Gosling brought in another $54.5 million US across North America in its second weekend. It is the top grossing Hollywood film of the year so far. Disney Pixar's animated movie Hoppers was in second with $12.2 million in ticket sales. And action comedy horror They Will Kill You debuted in third with $5 million.
A local charity that gives kids the chance to experience live events in the city is set to give away its 1 millionth ticket. Kids Up Front Foundation Toronto has been turning unused tickets into memories for 2 decades. The organization collects tickets for sports, concerts, film and theater, and distributes them to dozens of community organizations across the GTA. Executive Director Lindsay Outred says the group gives away around 65,000 tickets per year. It expects to hit the 1 million ticket milestone sometime next month.
For the entire family, it can be an incredibly special experience. So we work with all kinds of organizations, so arts, culture, sport, and families have many different interests. So just given a chance to be included at an event in the city, and often for the first time. So the children, youth, and families we work with face barriers to access. We all know the extremely high cost of doing things in our city. So just the chance for these families to be able to join in the collective joy that happens when you bring a large group of Torontonians together.
For more information or to donate your unused tickets, you can email torontotickets@kidsupfront.com.
Well, the bees aren't buzzing outside, but they certainly are at the National Spelling Bee. We'll give you the definition of what we're talking about when we come back.
After the BREAK. Well, some of the province's brightest young wordmasters were in Kitchener this weekend for the Scripps Regional Spelling Bee.
And it was a Toronto boy who came away with the top prize. CTV's Krista Simpson has the story from the bee.
Stagflation. 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 Stagflation.
11-year-old Arshan Shahryar, a grade 6 student at Gordon A. Brown Middle School in Toronto, is the winner of the Waterloo Region ECU Scripps Regional Spelling Bee after spelling stagflation correctly, an economic term that means persistent inflation combined with sluggish consumer demand and relatively high unemployment.
I knew that word. I've studied it so many times.
The event featured 17 students from schools in Waterloo Region and the Greater Toronto Area. The youngest competitor was in grade 3, the oldest grade 8. Shahryar will now head to Washington, D.C. to the Scripps National Spelling Bee in May. It will be his third time at the prestigious event.
I got to the quarterfinals first round last time, both times, and I got out, unfortunately. So I'm aiming for more this year.
It's just a wonderful opportunity for students to experience the stage, to improve on their self-confidence, public speaking, and really it's these kids gives an opportunity for them to compete in an environment that's not on a soccer field, that's not in a volleyball court, that's not on a hockey rink. These kids study, and some of the students study up to 4 hours a night. So they're passionate about spelling, and we are so very proud of them.
Shahryar will be one of 2 Ontario students at Scripps. He'll be joined by the winner of the Windsor Area Regional Spelling Bee, Isaac Brogan.
It's very exciting. It's a different experience. It's once in a lifetime.
I don't know if you ever watched them before, but like when they get to the national ones and sometimes they're on ESPN, they're incredible. Like they're intense, the crowds are cheering. It's a whole massive event to watch.
How do you spell ESPN?
Don't put me on the spot here. Well, you know what? You know how to spell rain? R-A-I-N. And we are getting some on Tuesday. But before that comes Not a bad day on Monday. Satellite radar, not much activity right now. That is going to change. Temperatures right now still double digits, 10 degrees in the city of Toronto. And as I mentioned, a beautiful day tomorrow. A sun-cloud mix and then mainly cloudy by 3 p.m. But we get all the way up to a daytime high of 16 degrees. So enjoy it, because then on Tuesday, rain and a risk of thunderstorm. There's going to be a lot of rain across southwestern Ontario. And then it's a bit of a yo-yo effect from a temperature perspective. Natalie.
Thanks for spelling out the forecast. Be sure to join us tonight at 11 for CTV National News, followed by our next local newscast at 11:30.
In the meantime, our coverage continues anytime on CP24 and online at ctvnewstoronto.ca.
For all of us here at CTV News, thank you for watching and bearing with us. Have a good night.